Good morning. Today we are going to be reviewing for our test tomorrow over solving equations, the thing we've been working on for the last few weeks. So here's a little review of the notes we've been taking basically every day. The steps for solving equations. Step 1, we're going to split the problem down the middle at the equal sign. Step 2, if there are parentheses, then we need to do them right away. That means usually the distributive property. Step 3, combine like terms. That's where we put together all the things that have the same letter X in them, or the same letter Y in them, or whatever. Step 4, that's where we get that X all by itself by getting rid of the numbers on the same side, and we say that we're going to isolate the variable, and we use inverse operations. That means the opposite of add is subtract, the opposite of subtract is add, the opposite of multiply is divide, and the opposite of divide is multiply. So let's take a look at some of the problems that are going to look like on your test tomorrow. All right, so they're going to start off simple, where they're called one-step equations. So let's walk through those steps. Split it down the middle at the equal sign, and then what makes it a one-step equation is that there are no parentheses here. There are no like terms, because if I circle the part with the X in it, there's only one thing I circled. And then that fourth step, when I isolate the variable, there's only one number to get rid of, timesing by 4. The opposite of timesing by 4 is dividing by 4. 4 is reduced down to 1. 20 divided by 4 is 5. You should know that that's right, because if you go back to the beginning, the problem said 4 times what makes 20, and 4 times 5 makes 20. That's basic math. All right, I'm going to do every single problem on here. I'm going to jump down a little bit and try one that's a little more complicated for most people, and that's the ones with the fractions in them. So, for example, I'm going to go ahead and do number 6 here. All right, so step 1, I'm going to split it down the middle at the equal sign. Step 2, if there are parentheses, I'm going to take care of them now, but there are no parentheses on this one. Step 3, I'm going to combine like terms, so I'm going to circle the part with the X in it, and there's only one part with an X in it, so there are no like terms to combine. Step 4, I'm going to get that X by itself by doing the opposite. And right now, that is X divided by negative 3. And the opposite of dividing by negative 3 is timesing by negative 3 on both sides. Now what's going to happen on the left is these negative 3's are going to reduce down to 1, because the one negative 3 is in the top of the fraction, the other one's in the bottom of the fraction, and it leaves just the X. On the right side, 9 times negative 3 is negative 27, so even though that looked like it had fractions in it, it wasn't fraction work. We just multiplied. All right? Now these ones down here, these ones require a little bit of fraction work because that's a full-fledged fraction. The last one over here, this was just division. That's just X divided by negative 3. That wasn't really a fraction. But number 7 and 8 here, these are fractions. So we're going to do the same steps. I'm going to start it by splitting down the middle at the equal sign, looking for parentheses, don't have it, looking for my variables, there's just one of them. So I'm ready for that final step. And the opposite of multiplying by a fraction is dividing by a fraction, which gets really ugly. I don't know if you remember this or not, but if I wanted to take the fraction 2/3 and divide it by the fraction 2/3, you wouldn't have actually done that. What you would have done is you would have keep, change, flip. Probably what you're used to hearing. It's called multiplying by the reciprocal, but that's the idea. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to multiply by a reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by that fraction upside down. Now what happens here is that these 3's reduce down to 1, these 2's reduce down to 1, and we get nothing but X. Now on the right-hand side, it's a two-part problem. It's 10 times 3, and then divided by 2. Because again, a fraction bar is really just a division sign, so this really isn't very much fraction work. It's just 10 times 3, which is 30, and 30 divided by 2 is 15. All right, let's try one more, maybe 2. All right, so let's try one with some parentheses in it, one with the distributive property, one like number 10 here. All right, so 10, I'm going to split down the middle at the equal sign. Step 2, look for parentheses, and we've got it. And there's a number touching them, which means we need to multiply everything in the parentheses with that number that's touching it on the outside. Negative 2 times 3x and 4. So negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. But don't forget to do negative 2 times 4. And negative 2 times 4 makes negative 8. Notice that that plus sign did not just get copied down. That is not what was happening here. That plus sign was just about the 4, telling you it was positive. Now on the right, we didn't do anything. All right, next step. Combine like terms. Circle the part with the x in it. There are no other parts with x in it, so there are no like terms. I'm ready to move on to the fourth step. And when I do that, I got two numbers to get rid of. The times -6 and the -8. Always get rid of the number that's not circled first. It's easier. It's always plus and minus. So the opposite of -8 is +8. Those cancel. Bring down the -6. On the other side, 22 plus 8 is 30. Now, the last step is always a multiply-divide step. The opposite of timesing by -6 is dividing by the same -6. The -6 is reduced down to 1. On the right side, 30 divided by -6 is -5. All right, let's try one more. And then if you have any more individual questions as you practice some of these, you can always just get me on the Zoom and I'll walk you through one. All right, let's try number 14 here. All right, split it down the middle at the equal sign. No parentheses in this one, so I'm ready for step 3, combining like terms, and I've got them. The problem is that they're on opposite sides of the equal sign. And when that happens, I don't get to do 3x minus 2x like it looks like, because there's a bar in the way. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the one on the right go away, but I don't want just the -2 to go away. If I wanted just the -2 to go away, I'd divide by -2. But I want the -2 and the x to both go away. So I'm going to use adding and subtracting. That's how you make the letter and the number go away. All right, so opposite of -2x is +2x. Those make 0 and cancel. Bring down the 12. On the other side, 3x plus 2x is 5x. Then there was still a -8. Again, I'm looking for my like terms. But now I don't have any more. I'm down to just the 1x. So now I'm ready to get rid of the 5 and the 8. Get rid of the one not circled first because it's add subtract and it's easier. +8 and -8 cancel. 12 plus 8 makes 20. And at this point you might know the answer. 5 times 4 makes 20. If you know that the answer is 4 right now, you don't have to show any more work or do any more steps. If you didn't know that the answer was 4, then the opposite of times is divide. You'll divide both sides by 5. And that's where you get 20 divided by 5 equal to 4. All right, this is the kind of work that's on your test. It's going to be mostly multiple choice, and a few fill in the blank and leave your own answer. But again, it's going to be about this difficulty and about this many problems. All right, good luck today and tomorrow.